Rose, let's start with you. This is your second feature, but it is a big departure from your debut. I mean, you're in America, you're deep in Americana now, you're in the 80s, you're doing so many different genres and bending them all. What really led you to this project?
It kind of instinct, I guess. I think off the back of St. Maud and going into the next one, I felt like I just wanted to make something fun and different and try something ambitious, I guess. And I wanted to make something pulpy and melodramatic. And I had like a very embryonic version of the idea, but I basically decided quite early on I wanted to co-write. So I teamed up with Veronica Tafilska, who's a writer-director as well. We've been friends for years and reading each other's scripts, and so we had this, shorthand already. And I basically came to her with the really early version of the idea, and then we just locked ourselves in a room for quite a few months, just sort of brainstorming it and developing these characters, and just tried to sort of keep trying things out to sort of put them in, just get the story to sort of like lead wherever felt most exciting to us, and this is somehow where we ended up.
And I read you have like Crash and Showgirls and probably some others all mixed in there as inspirations. And take us through some of those touchstones.
Yeah, that was a weird list of films I think I put together and suggested to some of these guys to watch. But I mean, I don't think many of them I was consciously thinking about too much as we were writing. We were just kind of trying to focus on these characters and this story and like the tone, I guess. So it was more in hindsight, as we're in prep, trying to sort of give these guys an idea of the sort of world that the story is going to take place in, to hopefully try and, I don't know if it worked or not, as in like, I don't know if those titles were helpful to suggest. But there's I guess, because like the Cronenberg one and Showgirls and like Saturday Night Fever and stuff like, I think it was all, Paris, Texas was some of the looks. So it was, I don't know, a weird mix, but basically to show that this is something that takes place in quite a sort of heightened world. They've all got a very particular tone. Yeah, I don't know.
Right. And casting Kristen, I read that she was the one person you had in mind for this role. Why was that?
I think as soon as we decided we wanted to set it in America and just quite early on this character, I don't know, it was just kind of a instinctual sort of thing. She just seemed like a really natural fit for it. So I was kind of picturing her pretty much the whole time that we were writing it. And then I heard through the grapevine that she'd seen St. Maud and liked it. So I was like, oh yes, maybe she'll kind of be up for it. So yeah, thank God she said yes.
So Katy, you're being billed as like maybe the next a breakout or a newcomer, but you have a lot of big credits to your name already. Talk about, working in this role, kind of this first big dramatic role, I guess, and how you became a partner in crime with Kristen and with your director.
Ant-Man and the Wasp wasn't dramatic? What? A fan sent me the call for the role. I had no idea that it existed. So when I heard about that, I saw that it was queer bodybuilding. I'm like, I'm in. I have to do it. And then I read the writing, and I was just, it was unreal. The script was so unique, so quirky, so crazy, so fun. I saw St. Maud. Kristen's amazing. I just wanted to do it. Yeah.
How did you get bulked up for the part?
It's all CGI. It was very expensive. Very, very expensive. I just, they got me a trainer, they got me a dietitian, and I had done bodybuilding in the past, so it was something that I had done, but on an easier level because it was taken care of for me, essentially. I just had to follow a plan. It was great.
You're in amazing shape already, though. That was kind of the thing. And we, I think we cast you not too long before the start of the shoot, so it was quite a short run up to it. Yeah. So it was insane. We were doing all the sort of full kind of like shooting schedule, and then on top of that, Katy's kind of like training 3 hours a day and sort of on top of it. So it was, it's insane.
How do you juggle and focus with, so much going on to know that like, okay, I have to maybe physically prepare, but also mentally prepare as an actress?
They just made it as easy as possible for me. I don't know what else to say. It's looking at your schedule, and they were pretty good at maintaining the schedule. And then just working around when I would be able to fit stuff in. And sometimes it would be, a really late night, really boring cardio session, but that gave me time to read my lines and prep for the next day. And we'd meet up on weekends and work on what we needed to work on if we had to. And it was just,
we just kind of got thrown in.
Jenna, you play Kristen's sister in the film. That sounds like a perfect match, honestly. But talk about your character and, getting into this project?
Yeah, it was a beautiful match. I think the two of us have been in kind of revelry moments for each other for a long time, supporting, understanding, loving from afar. So it was nice to sort of step in and tend that type of sibling, loving family relationship. I felt like we had a lot to build on already in a way. But the script, I mean, I can't wait for audiences to see this. I can't wait for the people that vote about, best script and best writing. It's one of the best scripts I've ever read. I was absolutely blown away. It didn't matter who was in it, what was in it. Knowing that there was such a visionary already behind it. I had seen Saint Maud and was struck by the uniqueness of the tone and the subtlety of the supernatural, which I think is a very hard line to ride. It was just a gift. I was like, I'm fighting for it. I wanted to be, I would have, pulled cables for the film. I was just excited to be a part of it.
And Dave, we only see like a snippet of you in the trailer, I think, but everything I read is that you're playing really off-type, kind of a really nasty dude to Jenna specifically. Tell us about your character and how you got involved.
I've played some nasty dudes in the past, but this guy might take the cake. Yeah, I mean, I was obsessed with Saint Maud, and so when I heard that Rose was maybe interested in me for the part, I was extremely flattered. And even though this guy is like a complete degenerate, like what I love about Rose, is that like in our first conversations, it was like, okay, how did this guy become this way? Why is he this way? And so we were talking about, all right, what happened to him as a kid? What was his relationship like with his own parents? Maybe he didn't have parents. Maybe he was going through the foster system and was the recipient of violence as he was growing up. And that kind of has now, manifested itself in the way we see him now. And so, it wasn't in an effort to like make you sympathize for this asshole, but like it was at least like showing you why he is this way.
And you've directed a couple films as well.
Yeah.
Did you have shop talk with Rose about, picking up from her?
Walking up to this interview, I was asking her about a DP. I'm a huge admirer of everything Rose has done. And so I remember I was finishing up my last movie when we were starting this. And so I think we kind of commiserated on just like what a journey it is to make a movie.
I think we were communicating at various points throughout post, or you were in the end of post for your one, and it's just that sort of slightly painful bit. We were both like commiserating. We were just like, I'm ready for this to be finished.
Exactly.
Anna, you were here for Manchester by the Sea, I believe. Like that was your debut.
Yeah.
I mean, tell us what it's like to be back here after all these years, and and what it's like to be here for this role.
I love it here so much. I've been so spoiled to come back a few times. I think, especially for a movie like this, seeing it with an audience. This was such a strange movie to screen by myself because I was gasping alone in a room and watching through my fingers. And you learn so much about a film, I think, when you see people's energy. I don't think Kenny will mind that I say when I saw a cut of Manchester by the Sea, I famously thought it was a little boring. And then I saw it with the audience here and was incredibly moved, because I just think when you see something as it's designed to be, which is a collective experience, you really feel it in a different way. And this is such a passionate, wonderful place to do that.
And Ed, you've played a lot of menacing characters in your career, but this one, I think something with the hair and in the trailer that we've seen so far takes the cake. I mean, what was it like getting into your role for this and playing this part?
Well, I also had seen Saint Maud and was very impressed, and I was always thought a lot about. Thought Kristen was really pretty great, and I'd worked with Jenna years ago, Stepmom, when she was a kid. Anyway, yeah, I mean, what can I say? I mean, he's a despised father for pretty good reason, but he's doing what he can to survive and live. He's got a great beetle collection, which is unfortunately given a little kind of short shrift in the film. But I understand why. My relationship.
Beetl.
Beetles. My relationship with my Beatles is not really essential to the story, so it's minimized. But I had a good time with them. Got to know them pretty well.
Did you keep any of the Beatles?
Pardon me?
Did you keep any of the Beatles?
No.
Okay, I was just wondering. I mean,
mine.
it seems
We had professional Beatles.
maybe there was eggs
I got to know
involved.
more about the Beatles. Wait, yeah. What,
Well, ask Rose. she said, you know, your guy's into Beatles. I said, cool. So, you know.
well, what do you hope that people take away from this film once audiences finally get to see it?
I hope they have a lot of fun watching it. I mean, that was sort of my main goal setting out to make it. I'm really excited to see how it goes down with the crowd. I feel it's the kind of thing, I hope to get some sort of visceral reactions. I don't know, I hope people have a lot of fun.
Could I say one thing? I'm so excited to be here because I'm so excited about this film. It's really great. And Rose deserves a lot of credit because she, you know, she worked it and sent me the first earlier cut to look at, and it was not happening, you know? And she went back in there, man, and did some reshoots, rethought it, and it fucking kicks ass. It's really cool.
What was that next level, or what happened that, you know, in that process that really helped it evolve? Or
I mean, to be honest, I had this in St. Maud as well, and going forward, I'd personally love to make that just a kind of built-in way of working. Like, I think this idea that you sort of, you know, obviously when you finish writing a script, you think, oh, it's complete and perfect. I'll just shoot this, cut it together how I've written it, and it's going to... But obviously that's never what happens realistically. It's this whole process that keeps shifting. So yeah, so in Maud as well, we did like 1 week, about halfway through the edit, where, you know, as you're editing, new ideas come up that you can't tell until you've actually shot the scenes with the people who obviously, like, you know, new stuff happens on the spot. So yeah, it was something I'd sort of been anticipating doing going into it, you know, having that opportunity to go back again, which fortunately we were able to do. And yeah, you only really figure out exactly what it is as you're making it. And yeah.
were you going to say something, Jenna?
You actually felt, had an inclination that you would be maybe shooting some more stuff fairly soon into the editing process?
Yeah, no, more like even before the shooter was kind of
really?
more like, I mean, I didn't know what they were, but just having, you know, those 5 days or whatever that we had in St. Maud, where it was a similar process of like, now we've edited this, you know, I've come up with this thing, I want to do it.
So did you know you had those days if you needed them?
No, but I'd asked. I'd asked for them. They were kind of like, well, let's see what the... I was like, we will. I promise you, it's kind of...
Do you think that will inform the next film that you do, like knowing that there's like that apparatus and like how much alchemy in the editing room is involved? Like, I just wonder, like, if you're able to kind of, I don't know, pre-plan.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you never know what the stuff is until it comes up. But yeah, I'd love, going forward, I'd love to have, knowing that you have that going forward, I think just is quite liberating when you're actually shooting.
Yeah, tell us about the next film. Are you already percolating ideas? Is A24 already knocking on your door?
Secret.